Sometimes the truth is painful.
You can't handle the truth!
Welcome to this week's Todd Wrestles with the Truth. AEW Week in Review. The first show of the week, which takes place on Monday nights at 7 on AEW's YouTube channel, is AEW Dark Elevation. This was a big show this week with 16 matches. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about with this one. Man. First match of the episode was Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor, best friends, taking on Ryan Nemeth and JD Drake. This match was set up from last week because Orange Cassidy took on Ryan Nemeth last week, beating him. Ryan Nemeth attacked Orange Cassidy after the match, and Chuck Taylor came out to make the save. Then JD Drake ran out and attacked Chuck Taylor from behind, saving Ryan Nemeth, which that's what set up this tag team match this week. Another pretty good match. Of course, Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy kind of controlled the whole match. A few spots here and there where they lost control for a few minutes, but best friends, Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor, won this match. And after they won, though, while they were celebrating, Kip Sabian and Miro came out to threaten them ahead of the Arcade Anarchy match on Wednesday night. So after they threatened them, they left. Best friends went to leave the ring, heading towards the exit tunnel, and got attacked and jumped by, of course, Miro and Kip Sabian. And attacked them and beat them down for a few minutes before Miro took his shoe off and started beating Chuck Taylor in the head with it, which is really weird. And then they left. And then that's where it went on to after that. So they'll have the Arcade Anarchy match on Wednesday night, which should be really good after this build-up. It's been a long build-up of this feud. So the next match of the night was Jon Moxley taking on Bill Collier. This is Collier's debut AEW match. A lot of people might not know Collier. Collier's actually holds 3 different heavyweight championships in 3 different indie promotions, coming into facing Moxley in this match. Of course, Moxley wins this match with the bare naked choke and submits. Collier passes out from it. And the funny thing was, Moxley got up and kind of said something to Collier. You couldn't hear what he said, and then gave him a little head rub. Like, good match. The next match of the night was Penelope Ford taking on Leela Gray. Squash match, kind of. Leela got in a couple of good moves, but basically, Penelope Ford squashed her. Penelope Ford wins this match, having Kip Sabian in her corner. And the next match of the night was the Gun Club versus Rex Lawless and Chocolate Milk. Again, Chocolate Milk. Sorry, too damn funny. Another great 6-man tag match. And what AEW is doing with all these 6-man tag team matches is it's getting close to. It's got to be coming up soon with one of the pay-per-views. Is that they're going to unveil the 6-man tag team championships that they've been talking about for a while now. So that's why they're having a lot lately of these 6-man tag matches to set up the tag teams for those championships. Hopefully it'll be soon at one of the next pay-per-views, but they haven't exactly told when it's going to be yet. So anybody's guess right now. This was a good match and kind of pretty much a squash match. The Gun Club got the victory when with their finisher, the 310 to Yuma, which I love that. I love that name for, the Gun Club. That's a great, reminds me of the movie, the Westerns. Another decent match, but yeah, it was, the Gun Club's going to win this match because Billy Gunn's not losing. So the next match of the night was Joey Janela versus Chandler Hopkins. This was a pretty good match, actually. Showed off Chandler Hopkins. He's another indie star, I believe, from Texas, and showed some good moves. Joey Janela got the win in this match. like I said, it was a pretty good match. I'm really liking what Dark Elevation is doing with bringing in all these new talent to give them some TV time. So I see some of these guys like Hopkins and some of these from indie promotions that don't get a lot of, or if any, television time, to get them in the swing of things for being on television. And as they get better and better, they work their way up now from Elevation to Dark, and then hopefully they get up to Dynamite, which is the actual television. But these two shows are really good for getting these people, experience and getting them over with the audiences. So Joey Janela wins this match. Again, really good match. So there's just so many matches this night to keep up with. It was kind of hard to to keep up with all these matches. Next match of the night was Thunder Rosa versus Alex Garcia. Thunder Rosa is really good. I mean, for somebody who hasn't been wrestling like for a decade at least, she's really good. She's smooth. Her matches are good. She hardly has any. I don't think I've seen a botch in one of her matches since she started with coming to AEW. But I believe she also wrestles for NWA. And since they're starting up again, I believe I heard. So she might have to go back to NWA for a while, but I don't know if she's going to be able to do both, or at least until her contract is up with NWA, then maybe she'll come back permanently to AEW, but that's what I heard. But yeah, another great match. Thunder Rosa, like I said, is really good. Doesn't miss a beat. She's smooth. Her matches are really good. And she defeated Alex Garcia in this really good women's match, which is really nice to see AEW doing a lot more really good women's matches instead of just thinking of it as like a second thought. There's that women's match. Yeah, let's do that. This was another good match. Like Thunder said, Thunder Rosa is really good. And if you get a chance to watch any of her matches, watch them because you'll be impressed with her. The next match was Leela Hirsch versus Vimpris. I think that's how you say it. This was, I believe, her debut as well, Vimpris. Leela Hirsch is an impressive wrestler. Has an impressive. She has a amateur background, and she's really small too. But you wouldn't expect the power she has to come out of her. I mean, she does some pretty impressive moves, power moves. But another pretty good pretty good women's match. This one, Leela Hirsch takes the win. And so that was another really good match. I mean, so it'd be interesting to see the Vimpris some more, to see what else she can do, in future matches. The next match of the night was Frankie Kazarian against Danny Limelight. I think this was a singles match for Kazarian, really good match. Kazarian's awesome. I mean, a veteran. But I think this was a really a singles match to get him warmed up for Dynamite, where he'll face the returning to wrestling Christian Cage, who's been away for 7 years with a neck injury. Didn't think he was ever going to wrestle again. He made a sort of comeback at the Royal Rumble, where he appeared in the Royal Rumble for WWE, but just didn't have anything to do with WWE after that. They didn't do anything. They thought, oh, well, he'll just stick around. We'll figure out something for him later and sign him. So he said, screw that. I want to wrestle. And he came to AEW. And him and Frankie Kazarian have been friends for years, ever since the TNA Impact days. And so they're going to have a match on Dynamite. Like a warm-up match, I guess you'd call it, for Christian Cage to get back in the swing of things. And there couldn't be anybody better than Kazarian to have that match. Speaking of better than Kazarian, Kazarian wins this match against Danny Limelight. Danny Limelight's another one that's going to be an impressive wrestler in a while, because being a rookie, he showed some pretty good moves against Kazarian. But, Kazarian being the veteran, got the win. The next match of the night was All Ego Ethan Page versus Fuego del Sol. Fuego del Sol keeps saying that he's the master of the Tornado DDT, but I've only seen him actually get the move done twice. So people say, to be a master, you have to win with it. But I can see why AEW signed Ethan Page. He's a really good wrestler, a really good, talker and character. After he left Impact, and this was a pretty good match, but it was pretty much a squash match. Ethan Page came right out and destroyed Fuego del Sol. He might have gotten a little bit of offense, but Ethan Page just came right back and basically ran him over. So yes, Ethan Page got the win here over Fuego del Sol. The next match of the night was a warm-up match for Hikaru Shida and Tai Conti taking on Jasmine Allure and Tessa Price. This was, I would call this a warm-up match for Shida and Conti because they've never tag teamed together, so they tag teamed in this match to get a familiar feel for each other because they're going to be having a match against the Bunny and Nyla Rose on Dynamite on Wednesday. So a good match, but they pretty much squashed Jasmine Allure and Tessa Price though, because Shida, women's world champion, Tai Conti, the number one contender for the championship, they're both really good. And it was a really good match. I love seeing Shida wrestle, and now I'm really liking to watch Tai Conti because she's also a black belt in judo, and she does a lot of those judo moves and throws and holds while she's wrestling. So yeah, they got the win over Jasmine Allure and Tessa Price. The next match of the night was Jungle Boy with Jurassic Express taking on Jack Evans with Angelico in his corner, which it's good to see Angelico back after he was off for months because of an injury, which left Jack Evans to have to do singles matches. It's going to be great to see them tag teaming again together because they are an excellent tag team. This was a really good match. Jungle Boy is becoming so good. Every time I see Jungle Boy, he's getting better and better. Oh my God. And Jungle Boy did get the win here, slapping on his submission hold, making Jack Evans tap out. And the next match of the night was QT Marshall and Lee Johnson, a tag team against Adam Priest and Aaron Fry. This was a pretty good match, but it was a squash. I guess I call it a squash. But it's really great to see, Elevation doing these matches where they're getting these rookies some exposure against veterans like QT Marshall and some of these guys. So, even if it comes out to be a squash match, it's not, it's not really a squash match and that they're rookies and they're learning. So it's really good. But QT Marshall and Lee Johnson did get the win here, defeating Adam Priest and Aaron Fry in another really pretty good match. All of these tonight have been really decent matches. The next match of the night was Ryo Mizunami, which has been a breath of fresh air and awesome to see her come over from Japan and just kicking butt. She only has one loss in AEW since getting there, and that was to Shida, the women's champion. So she's just coming in and just steamrolling people as she did when she was in Japan. I think in Japan she had held 6 different titles or 6 different times held titles. So she's a veteran. And she was taking on tonight Kylie King. And yeah, it was an okay match. I mean, Kylie had the height advantage on her, but Mizunami had the experience, and it showed. She got the win in this match because of that experience. Another really good women's match. I mean, they're lining up a lot of good women's matches these days, which is great to see. After AEW had such a sputtering start to the women's wrestling in AEW that they kind of went, it's there. But now they've gone full force into it, and they've gotten a lot of great women's matches. I mean, this being one of them. Every time you see Ryo Mizunami, watch her wrestle. She's funny. She's got that over-exaggerated, Japanese style, strong style wrestler, but she's good. And she is good at what she does. And it was a great match. The next match of the night was the Dark Order's Allen Angels, number 5, and number 10 taking on D3 and Very Morales. Another decent match, but the Dark Order guys, they just came out and just kicked butt. Number 10 got the win in this match when he slapped on a full Nelson and basically ragdolled the guy to basically pass out because, the ref had to ring the bell. But yeah, the Dark Order has got so many talented people in it now. It is incredible. I mean, what a group. The next match of the night was Private Party taking on Bear Country. I'm really starting to like Bear Country. They're big guys, powerhouse guys. But unfortunately, tonight, Private Party got the win. And it was, I don't know if it was because of, or they just blamed it on Marco Stunt. Because Marco Stunt ran out and attacked Matt Hardy because of the stuff that they've been having from the week before. And I guess that distracted Bear Country from their finishing move, and they got rolled up and by Private Party. And so Bear Country gets the loss. They blamed Marco Stunt. Marco Stunt came to the ring and tried to apologize, saying that's not what he was doing. He was just trying to make sure that Matt Hardy didn't interfere in the match. I guess they didn't believe him, so they started to attack Marco Stunt. The rest of Jurassic Express came out, made the save. They got into a brawl, and so that's leading to a match between Jurassic Express and Bear Country. So that should be a great match. I mean, two powerhouse guys. You got, Luchasaurus, big guy, martial arts guy, can kick your head off from just about any angle. And Jungle Boy, which, like I said, just becoming a better and better wrestler every time I see him. So that should be good. And then, Private Party and Matt Hardy snuck off laughing because they caused this rift between those two teams. So we'll see what happens there. And then the last match of the night, Scorpio Sky against Mike Sydal, with Matt Sydal in his corner. This is part of Scorpio Sky's, I guess, heel turn. He says it's not a heel turn, but he's not acting like he did when he was fully part of SCU, though it's a heel turn. So it was a great match. Every match you can get into with Scorpio Sky is a great match. Scorpio Sky is an awesome wrestler. I would still like to see him part of SCU, but now they're trying something new with him, I guess, making him a bad guy. And so, great match. Mike Sydal, wow. Yoga master, he calls himself. Flexible as hell for the yoga. Man, he was dodging moves like he was freaking in the Matrix. But Scorpio Sky finally locked on his finishing move, his submission move. Mike Sydal tapped out. Scorpio Sky wouldn't release the move. So Matt Sydal jumped in to attack him, to stop him. And then out comes, who of all people? Page. All ego. Ethan Page runs out, attacks Matt Sydal, and then him and Scorpio Sky attack both the Sydal brothers, and then walk out to leave. Scorpio Sky turns to the good guy tunnel, as it's called, does a spin on the stage, and then him and Ethan Page walk out the bad guy tunnel. So that was interesting to see that the heel turn is in full swing. Literally, he did a spin on his heels, and then walked out of the bad guy tunnel. So it's going to be interesting to see this group pairing of Page and Scorpio Sky, because two very good wrestlers, as I said on the review of his before. Well, so watch. So the next episode of Elevation, it will be, like I said, it's Mondays at 7. So it'll be, and it's on their YouTube channel. So thank you for watching Todd Wrestles with the Truth, AEW Week in Review for AEW Dark Elevation. Welcome to Todd's Truth presents Todd Wrestles with the Truth, my AEW Week in Review. This is AEW Dark, which is on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. on AEW's YouTube channel. Not quite as many matches on Dark as there was on Dark Elevation, but still some really good matches. Starting with this one, The Butcher and the Blade taking on Milk Chocolate. Sorry, I laugh every time. Milk Chocolate. With Matt Hardy, the Bunny, and Private Party out at ringside. This was a Milk Chocolate's got some good stuff. They've been wrestling for a little bit, but still they got destroyed by the Butcher and the Blade. I don't know if I say squash match, but it was pretty close. They just tore Milk Chocolate apart and got the win. Next match on the night was Jasmine Allure versus Maddie Rinkowski. Maddie Rinkowski is, I guess, she's always got that look on her face. But pretty good wrestler. I mean, coming up, learning, still. I don't know if she's a complete rookie or not, but she's had some good matches. So this was a pretty decent match. She well overpowered Jasmine because she's tall and bigger than Jasmine Allure. But Maddie got the win for this match. And she had a match, I think it was last week, where she tagged with Leva Bates, which was another really good match. If you get a chance to watch it, watch it. Leva Bates, another really good wrestler. The next match for the night was Chaos Project versus Dean Alexander and Justin Law. Luther, as I've said before, he's a crazy wackadoo. The stuff he does, like just using Serpentico, his tag team partner, as a weapon, is hilarious. I mean, he'll just randomly, Serpentico won't even know it half the time. He'll just grab him, throw him into the opponent, use his head for a battering ram, throw him at other opponents. It's pretty damn funny. As this match was. And Chaos Project got the win in this match. These are another good ones. These are another funny ones to watch. If you like crazy stuff, watch these guys. They're hilarious. Next match was Sunny Kiss with Joey Janela versus Angelico with Jack Evans in his side. It's good to see Angelico back because he's been gone for a few months, I think, with an injury. So it's good to see him back and good to see him, in a match. Sunny Kiss, good wrestler. I was really surprised that Angelico got the win in this match. But I guess, coming off his injury, they're wanting to give him a little push, to get him going again and get him back in the tag team scene. Once I can't wait to see them tag teaming again because, they're a really good tag team. And like I said, Angelico got the win in this match with a submission move. Got Sunny Kiss to tap out. Next match of the night was Dark Order, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and Colt Cabana taking on Very Morales, Bill Collier, and D3. Like I said in my review of the Dark Elevation, Bill Collier has made his AEW debut. He's actually a three-time champion, not three times, but he holds 3 different heavyweight championships of 3 different indie promotions. So he's a good wrestler. So it's great to see him, getting his chance in AEW now. But this is a great match. I mean, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson are a great tag team. And you had Colt Cabana on, who's a long-time veteran. I mean, they're good. They make a great trio. And like I was saying before, or I've said before too, is that these trio 6-man tag matches are ramping up a lot because AEW soon, I hope, are getting ready to show everybody or show off their new 6-man tag team titles. So it'll probably happen at a pay-per-view. So that I can't wait to see those belts and then to have some kind of tournament or something to crown the first 6-man tag team champions of AEW. The Dark Order here got the win. So with Colt Cabana, Colt Cabana does this move where he puts a guy on his shoulders on the middle rope, stands up, drops off the middle rope, leaving the guy hanging in midair, and then he falls across the top turnbuckle. Yeah, it looks painful as hell. But that's his move he's been using to get the wins in these matches. I mean, to finish people off, and it works. No one's got up from the move yet. Next match was Adam Priest and Casey Navarro versus Jurassic Express. But this time it was Luchasaurus, not being with Jungle Boy, but he was with Marco Stunt this time. So that was interesting to see the tag team. And at one point, the finisher was Luchasaurus double choke slamming both Priest and Navarro, and then pinning them both with one hand for the win, while Marco Stunt ran it behind him and celebrated. Yes, Jurassic Express gets the win while Jungle Boy was on the outside cheering him on. Next match was a women's match with the Vimpress. I hope I'm saying that right, because I think that's how it was said. And Diamante. Diamante, she is a good wrestler. She came over again, I think from, I can't remember if it was Impact or ROH, one of them. But I think she was part of, I think it was Impact, because I think, I can't remember, she was part of LAX faction in one of those leagues. For some reason, I've completely forgot. But yeah, she's a good wrestler. She defeats Vimpress here. Yeah, she's a no-nonsense punch you in your face girl. I mean, and yeah, she hits hard too. I mean, damn, she's a good. She's also really, really good wrestler. So it'll be nice to. It'll be a nice match to see her and taking on anybody in the women's thing. But I mean, it was a good match. I mean, again, it's great to see the women's matches getting better and better, and them actually taking a bigger, lead with the women's matches now, and having women have main events now. Well, that's awesome to see. But this was another good match. Next match was Jake Patrick, Sage Scott, and Chandler Hopkins. There's the guy I mentioned before, Chandler Hopkins. He's a really well-known indie wrestler in Texas, from what I've heard. Against Team Taz. Yeah, they're just bad. They're just badass. Yeah, they Team Taz clean these guys' clocks. I mean, when you've got the wrestling talent that's on Team Taz right there, it's there's not many people. And again, the 6-man tag team thing's going on because they're, like I said, ramping up for the 6-man tag team titles. This might be a 6-man team, that tag team that could be right up there for winning those championships, because they're really good. And you've got you got two big powerhouses that can also wrestle very well, and you've got the skill wrestler there too. So it's and then Hook in the back there, which is Taz's son. So yeah, and another reason to watch, like I said before, another reason to watch Dark is just for Taz's commentary, because he is hilarious. The trash talk he talks about everybody, the stuff, oh my God, he's just funny as hell. So yeah, Team Taz got the win in this one. In convincing fashion too. I mean, this was a squash match if ever there was one. Next match, another 6-woman tag team match with Big Swole, Red Velvet, who we saw tag team last week together for the first time. They're really good together. They're both really good wrestlers. Like I said before, good to see Big Swole back after her medical leave. This time teaming up with Kylan King, who we saw before, and take on Rio, I believe it was Rio Mizunami, and against Ashley Vox, Delima Exo, and Vert Vixen. But yeah, I mean, Swole and Red Velvet are really great. And Red Velvet's, she was the one that helped out Cody when he was facing off against Shaq and in that match to do the women's side of it for Brandy, who was supposed to have been in it, but she got pregnant, so she couldn't make the match. But she's proven herself. I mean, I think she's second now for the women's title, right behind Tay Conte. So this was a good match. Another great women's match here with, I'm not as familiar with Kylan King, but she's good. She's got some moves. But yeah, Big Swole, Red Velvet, and Kylan King wins this match. And hopefully, if they're doing these two, that might be, would be great to see some women's tag titles or 6-man team titles too. Instead of just the women's title and then have everything for the men. That would be great to see the women's stuff as well. Another great match. If you guys can watch it, I watched this match. And then Michael Nakazawa. What can you say about him? Against Mike Magnum. Nakazawa is kind of yeah, what can you say about him? Kind of like a comedy routine. That's how he's always wrestled before, from Japan, and he did it here in AEW as well. And now he comes out literally dressed like he's Kenny Omega's personal assistant. He's got the headpiece on. He's got the clipboard. He's got, and several times in this match, the ref tried to start the match, and he'd stop him and get on the headphone like, oh, yeah. And he'd start talking on the headphone, on the microphone and headset. And oh my gosh, it was funny. Until Mike Magnum just had enough with it and just attacked him. But yeah, it was funny. And Nakazawa's a good wrestler. I mean, he just does the comedy stuff just, as a gimmick to have something different. But he's a really good wrestler. And he got the win in this match. The next match was Baron Black and John Skyler versus Miro and Kip Sabian. So this match was like a very unique, funny match, if you could, because not funny like Nakazawa funny, but funny as in they came out, Miro just got all pissed off and just started beating the crap out of both Baron Black and John Skyler. Kip Sabian didn't even take his jacket off. He sat on the ring apron with his back to the ring, talking to Penelope Ford the whole time, while Miro just destroyed both of these guys. And every once in a while, he would hear like Miro go, ow, or ooh, get hit. And he'd just look over his shoulder. Oh, he's okay. And then he'd keep talking to Penelope Ford. And then Miro got the win by himself against these two guys. And then Kip Sabian heard the 3 count, hopped up, jumped in the ring, and celebrated with Miro like he had wrestled the whole match himself and not Miro. So, yeah, Miro and Kip Sabian get the win. Miro did all the work. Kip Sabian, celebrated as well. Very funny match that showed just how monstrous a monster that Miro can be if he's used correctly and done right. Because he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in AEW. I mean, he's going to have some great matches with some of these other power guys because, he's a monster too. And last but not least, the last match of the night was Max Caster versus Alex Reynolds. So, I don't understand Max Caster. I don't like his goofy rap persona thing he's doing. I just think he's an okay wrestler. I mean, what I've seen hasn't been, like anything that's like blown me away for his skills. So when Max Caster won this match, I was kind of surprised because I thought AEW was really pushing Reynolds and Silver here. I think Silver's got an injury now, so he was out at ringside, but he wasn't fighting. So this was a singles match, but I thought they were really pushing these guys because they're good. They make a great tag team, and they're both individually good wrestlers. But I don't understand Max Caster because, like I said, I don't get it. But maybe somebody sees something in him. But to have him beat Alex Reynolds, I thought was a little bit of a surprise for me. Well, that was AEW Dark. AEW Dark takes place on Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern, on AEW's YouTube channel. Check it out. It's all their shows, Elevation, Dark, Dynamite, are all excellent shows. So you won't, you're always going to be entertained with these shows. Welcome to Todd's Truth Presents Todd Wrestles with the Truth, my AEW Week in Review. This episode's going to be my AEW Dynamite review. Dynamite takes place every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on TNT. The first match of the night is the return and debut in AEW of Christian Cage. Christian Cage returns to wrestling, this being only his second match in 7 years of being out with a neck injury that he thought was going to put him out permanently. He came back for his first match, I guess you'd say, but it wasn't really a match. It was the Royal Rumble. And since then, he's left WWE and is now joined AEW. And this is going to be his first match in 7 years, and his in-ring debut with AEW. And he's going to be taking on a great veteran and a friend of his from his days with Impact, Frankie Kazarian. Couldn't think of a better matchup. for his first match then with Frankie Kazarian. Two amazing veterans taking on each other, and let's see how much ring rust Christian Cage has. And that's what Frankie Kazarian said to him, which caused this match to happen. Good match. Frankie Kazarian had most of the match in hand. A few times it looked like Christian was going to lose, be done, because Frankie was just working him over so bad. But it all came down to Christian Cage hitting a frog splash on him, which looked amazing. So that was good to see. And then Christian Cage wrapped it all up with the kill switch, getting the victory over Kazarian. The kill switch used to be called his Unprettier. Still the same move, just different name. But yeah, really good match. Great to see Christian back, one of my favorite wrestlers. So happy he's back with AEW, where he can actually show what he can do and not be stifled like WWE would normally do. So yeah, Christian Cage gets his first win in AEW over Frankie Kazarian. And there he is when he made his ring debut. Outwork everyone. That's his new motto. That's on his t-shirt as well. And that's what caused the conversation between him and Frankie Kazarian about, which caused this match to happen, was, when's he going to start outworking? So this was his first match back. Great match. He got the win. I would highly recommend watching this match. Then there was a video package airing with Sting and the TNT champion Darby Allin. The champ told Matt Hardy that he would have to earn his respect because his money didn't mean S word to him. Another one of these little, movie setting video packages. Then we went on to the highlights for Jade Cargill played. Jade Cargill talked more trash about Red Velvet, the highlights weren't much because she's only actually had one match yet. Maybe two, I think. In AEW. So, short highlight reel. And then in the next match of the night was supposed to be an exhibition match between Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall. QT Marshall's been having a heel turn lately. So, another heel turn for another guy. Another one is Scorpio Sky doing heel turn. So, a lot of heel turns going on right now. But with Arn Anderson as the special guest referee for this match. Well, the match went on, and QT kept trying to go after the hurt shoulder of Cody. Cody kept out wrestling him because, Cody's better, way better. At one point, I think it was just that QT Marshall got frustrated. You thought it was him getting frustrated, and then he turned around and just sucker punched Arn Anderson in the face, knocking Arn Anderson to the ground. QT Marshall jumped over the top rope and was like he was going to walk away. He got to the top of the stage, and then as he was walking away, the rest of the Nightmare family jumped in the ring like, they were all shocked that QT just, sucker punched Arn Anderson. But then suddenly, Aaron Solo hits Billy Gunn with a chair. Billy Gunn was kneeling down checking on Arn Anderson, and he cracked him with a chair. And then the ex-Olympic boxer Anthony Ogogo started clearing the ring of wrestlers by punching them. He was an Olympic boxer, so he was just knocking the crap out of people. Again, another behind the back sucker punch stuff. And then Aaron Solo started choking out Cody with the chair. And then he struck Dustin Rhodes with the chair, knocking him down. And then Nick Camarado, which is another one member of the Nightmare family trained by QT Marshall. And he also was training at the Nightmare Factory too. But he trained with QT up in New Jersey first. So he's known QT Marshall a long time. He jumped in the ring, grabbed Lee Johnson, and QT Marshall motioned to him, instructed him to follow his commands. Camarado powerbombed Lee Johnson onto the entrance ramp. Ow. QT Marshall then stood there with a smile of satisfaction on his face. This goes back to when Lee Johnson made his debut for the Nightmare family, he literally thanked everybody at the training facility and everybody in the Nightmare family except QT Marshall. So I think this was payback for, I guess, his disrespect of QT Marshall. So he walked over to Arn Anderson, who was now out on the outside, and smashed his arm across the steel barricade, so to take him out for then. And then he hits. Then they help him get Dustin Rhodes, and then he hits Dustin Rhodes with a pile driver on the steel ring steps. Again, ow. Then QT ordered Solo and Ogogo to get Cody. They held Cody while Ogogo dropped him with a left hook. They rolled Cody up to QT Marshall. QT Marshall put him on the stairs, put his arm on the stairs, the steel steps, and he was going to hit him with a chair to take that shoulder out completely. But Red Velvet ran out and pleaded with QT to stop and wouldn't move. So apparently he does have a line. He's not going to hit a girl with a chair. So they QT Marshall, Camarado, a Solo, and a Go-Go all left. And interestingly, they left through the villain tunnel. So if you know anything about AEW, there's the good guy tunnel on one side, and then there's the villain tunnel on the other side. Well, they left through the villain tunnel, where they all came out through the good guy tunnel. So that blew up into, but that was kind of crazy because that's 4 guys. They're going to get a butt kicking like they've never seen before, because you've got Cody, you've got Dustin, you've got the Billy Gunn and his gun club, and then you've got the rest of the Nightmare family. That's a lot more than 4 people. I think they're going to come after him pretty hard, and they're probably going to deliver a giant butt kicking, which I would like to see. That'd be pretty damn funny, actually. And the next match of the night was Moxley versus Cesar Bononi. So here's another weird thing. Cesar Bononi's been teaming up with the Librarian for a little bit, but now he's also teaming up with, for whatever reason, Ryan Nemeth and JD Drake, which that's weird because they've never had any association on any shows before, but he came out with them in tow as well. And so it was basically Jon Moxley against 3 people. Cesar Bononi's a great wrestler, big wrestler. I mean, he's pretty tall and pretty big. So this was a great match. With at one point towards the end of the match, they were all getting involved, trying to stop Moxley. He was going to take out Bononi, and Nemeth and Drake both ran in the ring. He took Drake out. I think he threw him over the top rope, and then Nemeth's got the DDT, his version of the DDT, and then Bononi, he locked in the rear naked choke on him, which he's been using lately to just knock people unconscious, take them out completely. There isn't a tap out. He chokes them out till they pass out, and that's what he did here. And Bononi, he got him in it. He dropped to the mat, and he just cinched it in, and he lost consciousness, and the referee had to stop the match, and the winner is Jon Moxley. Then there was a promo, I guess, with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky from what happened on the other episode, I believe it was Dark, and where Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page is now teamed up. And they were saying that they were going to take everything and anything they want, and it starts this Monday on Elevation. So where they're going to be teaming up to face Matt and Mike Sydal after their match, where Scorpio Sky refused to release the ankle lock. So it's going to be on Elevation on Monday. So everybody watch that match because it's going to be good. And then Dasha was backstage to interview Red Velvet. Red Velvet got just a minute or 2 into her interview and got attacked, ambushed from behind by Jade Cargill, which is usually how these people work, because they won't attack you from the front because they're too scared to do that. But yeah, she attacked him again from behind, gave her a beat down a little bit, and then left. And then the next And then it went to MJF's gift to the Pinnacle. After they attacked and did a beatdown on the Inner Circle, the Inner Circle hasn't been around for a few weeks now, I think. A couple weeks, few weeks, something like that. This was MJF's gift to them. He got them a big locker room, group locker room. He had a stylist there to make them all new suits and whatever they wanted. He had them said he had an interior designer coming to redo the locker room to make it, better for their status within AEW. And then he made a comment about, and we need to get somebody in here to figure out what that stink is in the bathroom. So he walked over to the bathroom door, opened it, and this is what he sees. The Inner Circle standing there looking pissed off. So he quickly closes the door, tells everybody we have to get out of there. And he runs over to the main door and opens it. And before he can even make a noise, he gets punched right in the face. And he's an MMA fighter, so he punched MJF pretty good. And he can really fight. So, that's a big difference than taking a punch. But he can actually hurt you. So then the people went, oh my gosh, in the room, and the Pinnacle to move towards Swagger, and the bathroom door bursts open, and the rest of the Inner Circle runs out and starts attacking him. And this time, they got the drop on him, and they just started pounding the crap out of him. They broke off. They beat up every member of the Pinnacle. Sean Spears got his head slammed in a metal door. Proud and Powerful beat the crap out of... they even went after Tully. I mean, they beat him up too. It was like, man, they just went crazy. And then while this was going on, Jim Ross says the Inner Circle's taking out the trash, which was the Pinnacle. And then when it was all over, this is what they looked like. So they took back the dressing room. They said, this is our dressing room, and a few choice words. And then slapped tore the Pinnacle name off the dressing room and put their Inner Circle name back up. And then while this is going on, it was a big brawl. I mean, yeah, it was bad. It was. I mean, the Pinnacle got their butts kicked. But Chris Jericho was beating up MJF, and at one point he shoved his face in a toilet and then flushed it, gave him a swirly. Then he dragged him out of there. And he said things are going to get much worse, which is the same line he used when he said it to Shawn Michaels when they were brawling in WWF, I think it was. And then he took his head and shoved his head through a vending machine. So that was some pretty bad stuff. You can see blood all over his shirt there, and yeah. So next week, the Inner Circle's return. Actually on Dynamite I hope they just come back and beat the crap out of the Pinnacle again. That'd be funny. But yeah, what a brawl it was. I mean, I think this was just the beginning of the payback for the Pinnacle for that, attack from behind, basically, they did to him the week before, where they used chairs and champagne bottles and everything. But yeah, that was... If you could watch this brawl, it was a really good brawl. I mean, talk about getting some pretty good revenge here. The Inner Circle just, like I said, beat the crap out of the Pinnacle. So next week is going to be interesting to see how the Pinnacle comes back from it. The next thing on the night was a 6-man tag team match. Again, as I've said before, they're building up these 6 tag team matches, 6-man tag team matches, because AEW is getting ready to unveil their 6-man tag team titles, which I'm hoping is soon, maybe at the next pay-per-view, but that's why they're doing all of these matches, to get ready for that. So I can't wait, because I think six-man tag teams are awesome, and having the championships will be awesome as well. But this came down because of the match last week, where Kenny Omega came out to yell at the Young Bucks, and he attacked the Laredo Kid. First with a microphone, beat him in the head, and then attacked him with his championship belt. And then the Young Bucks left the ring, and the Lucha Brothers beat the crap out of Kenny Omega for it. Well, they left the ring. The Good Brothers came down to make the late save, and that's what set this match up because of that attack. So another great match. I mean, you're always going to have a great match when you have the Lucha Brothers. The Laredo Kid is amazing. Kenny Omega, unparalleled, probably, in my opinion, the best wrestler in the world. And the Good Brothers, yeah, one of the top tag teams in the world, next to the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers. I mean, they have so many good things. I mean, this match was crazy. And again, once you put these people in the ring, you know, the Lucha Brothers, Laredo Kid, they were flying around that ring like they had wings. I mean, it was so hard to keep up. Like, you were like focused on one thing, and then out of nowhere came another guy jumping in and doing some crazy move. So again, crazy match. I mean, but the quality of these matches are amazing. So again, if you go back and watch this match, you will not be disappointed. It ended when the Laredo Kid got hit by the one-winged angel from Kenny Omega and got the pin. But after the match, as the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega and Don Callis are celebrating, Jon Moxley strolls out and stands there and looks at them. And they were like, yeah, come on, bring it on. And then the Young Bucks come out and stand on either side of Moxley. And then that surprised Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. And then they were still like kind of like looking around like, what's going on? And then the Young Bucks and Moxley charged the ring, and immediately Omega and the Good Brothers dove out of the ring and ran around the ring to get away from them. So this is setting up a match for next week Dynamite, which will be the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega versus the Young Bucks and Jon Moxley. Another fantastic match is going to happen here. The next match of the night was a women's tag team match. This was also something set up from last week. I think it was Dark last week. So this was Hikaru Shida and Ty Conte versus the Bunny and Nyla Rose. So, but then Matt Hardy is managing the Bunny and the Butcher and the Blade now. So he was out at ringside. The Butcher and the Blade were at ringside. Private Party was at ringside. And Vicky Guerrero was at ringside because she's managing Nyla Rose now. So to even the odds out, Ty Conte had all the Dark Order come out and stand on the other side of the ring to make sure that, about, keeping things fair so they weren't going to interfere. But, like that didn't last long because lately the AEW referees have been, they really need their eyes checked because they've been blind. I mean, they've been so blind as bats, it's like not even funny. I mean, they let simple things like they could see 20 people in the ring and they'll look over, oh no, I'm distracted. Someone's standing on the ring. I don't see the 10 people behind me that are in the ring beating up the person. So it's gotten a bit, referee distractions have gotten a bit bad lately. And that's how this one ended, of course. But the referee's in the ring. The Bunny grabs Shida's kendo stick. The referee is standing right beside her. I mean, peripheral vision, she would have seen her holding the kendo stick. And Vicky Guerrero jumps up on the ring apron. The referee immediately runs over to confront Vicky Guerrero. Ty Conti gets back in the ring, doesn't see it, gets cracked with the kendo stick by the Bunny, and the Bunny wins with Down the Rabbit Hole, her finishing move. So, and then, a brawl breaks out, because all the Dark Order are there and all of Matt Hardy's people are there and, everything. So, other than that, it was a fairly good match. I mean, I'm not a fan of Nyla Rose. I don't think she's a good wrestler at all. So it was, but it had to end in the Bunny cheating and a distraction that was so fake it was impossible to miss. But good match. This is definitely going to lead to something bigger. Probably the Dark Order versus Matt Hardy's people with Shida, because of how they jumped him, and Nyla Rose getting in there too. So it's going to probably lead to a big fight coming up soon, which I'm all for because, the Dark Order beating the crap out of, Butcher and the Blade and Private Party. Yeah, that'd be a good match. I mean, to have them all just go out there because, Dark Order outnumbers Hardy's people. So it would be good to see him just come out and just wail on him for all the crap Hardy's done lately, costing them matches and doing this and all that stuff. So here's what happened afterwards. After they got the win, you can see them all up there. The Dark Order's now in the ring, holding the ring while they're up on the stage, acting like they're celebrating after the brawl. But this is going to be good. I think this is going to lead to something big, and it's going to blow up huge. I think it's probably going to be a pay-per-view thing, maybe like a War Games style match or something. But I think it's going to be a really good match with all these competitors. And then came the last of the night. Wow, the Arcade Anarchy match. This, I can honestly say, was the craziest, most insane match I think I've ever seen. Talk about like a theme match, for having a theme for this thing. This was insane. So it was Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy, best friends, taking on Kip Sabian and Miro. And then Penelope Ford was at ringside. So this was basically a no holds barred match, no DQ, taking place in what looked like an old style arcade setup around the ring and the ring area, which I love. That got a pop for me because, I remember the old days when you went to arcades to play video games. You didn't have them at home on your computer or your console. So there was even things set up all around the room, like it was an arcade. There was an air hockey table. There was a claw machine. There was even a stand in the back. There was even a stand on the side that had weapons on the rack with the price of how many tickets it will take you to win those prizes, like they did in the old arcades where you play the skee ball or any of those games and you get the tickets and then you go buy things. So that was so funny. That took me back too to or you go down the other days to like Chuck E. Cheese or some of those ones that are still around that do the same thing, give you the tickets and you take the tickets and you turn them in for prizes. So that got a big pop. That was really fun. But on the wall, it was hilarious because all these weapons were up there and you could see all the ticket prices. And then there's a pink, I think it was pink, or was it just a teddy bear up on the wall? And it had the highest price for tickets on it over all of these weapons on the wall. So that was funny, which will come into the match later. But so it turned into a big brawl. People were just attacking each other, using the arcade machines as weapons. One point, Chuck Taylor jumps off of one of the arcade machines. Like he got on the back, ran up the back of it, and jumped off of the arcade onto Miro. Then they were took out Kip Sabian for a minute, and then they were both attacking Miro, but Miro's a beast, man. In AEW, they're using him the right way because he is just a monster. They would beat him down for a minute. He'd fight his way back, and then take them out and beat him down again. It was a really good back and forth. And then while they're fighting, Orange Cassidy was fighting Miro. Chuck Taylor was fighting with Kip Sabian, and he grabbed that teddy bear. And I was like, what has it got, like a brick in it or something? He's going to hit him with it, and then it's going to be a brick inside or something like that. But no, even worse than brick in the teddy bear. He rips the teddy bear open, and then I'm thinking, oh, he's ripping it open. Oh, no, it's going to be thumbtacks. Because, this is a no-hold-barred, no DQ match. So I'm like, oh, no, it's going to be thumbtacks again. No, it was worse than thumbtacks. He poured out Legos into the ring. And I went, oh my God, no. I'll take the thumbtacks. Because if you've ever stepped on a Lego, they hurt worse than a thumbtack does. And I've stepped on both. And I was like, oh my God, no. And then I'm like, what's he going to do? And he went to grab Kip Sabian to, I guess, powerbomb him on it or slam him on the Legos. Kip Sabian was able to reverse it and then got Chuck Taylor in a powerbomb, and he powerbombed him onto the Legos. Oh my God. Of anything I've seen anyone hit with, I would not want to be the one to get power slammed on the Legos or power bombed onto the Legos, because oh my God, that's got to hurt. So then outside the ring, Orange Cassidy had kind of gotten away from Miro, So Penelope Ford decided to get involved in the match, and she took her belt off and was about to hit Orange Cassidy with the belt when the claw machine is right there. Out of the claw machine, inside the claw machine, pops up Chris Statlander, which I died laughing because she's called the Alien, and it made me think of Toy Story, the little green aliens in the claw machine that would get taken out. So she was in the claw machine, and that I just started laughing. I thought that was hilarious, and Penelope Ford was kind of just like staring at her, like, "What the hell?" Which Chris Statlander has been gone for months now on an injury, so this was awesome to have her back. She makes her return in this match. So being inside the claw machine, she hit the plexiglass window. The plexiglass window flew off and hit Penelope Ford right in the face. I mean, I don't even think she got her hand up fully in time to help, but that thing just crashed right into her face, which sent her reeling back. Chris Statlander got out of the machine and attacked Penelope Ford, while Miro came back after Orange Cassidy. And then Penelope Ford and Chris Statlander are fighting, and Chris Statlander picked up Penelope Ford and slammed her on the ring apron, which, as everyone knows, is the hardest part of the ring because it has no protective padding. So, and then from the side of the ring, there's Chris Statlander inside of the claw machine. And you can see the plexiglass in front of her. She hit that, and it flew, like I said, it flew right off and hit Penelope Ford right in the face. And then, on the big screen, Sue's minivan drives up, and Trent jumps out, and his mom gives him a kiss. So that's 2 returns in one match. Trent was also out for a few months now, healing a torn pec, I believe. So now we got 2 returns in one match. Chris Statlander and Trent. That's amazing to have them both back. So then, after, like I was saying, after Statlander, she picks up Penelope Ford and does a spinning power bomb off the apron onto an air hockey table. Ow. So Penelope Ford was pretty much done. She got wiped out by that. And then, so it ends by Trent did a spear on Miro through a table. And then Chuck gets Sabian and does a running power slam through the stage for the 1, 2, 3. So they all got in the ring. They hugged. Then they pointed at Chris Statlander to come and join the hug. And then she did, as you can see in this picture. And then they were saying that she was now part of the best friends. Then they all turned to the screen that was on the side there and gave a thumbs up to Trent's mom, who then gives them all a thumbs up back. This was the craziest match, like I said, I think I've ever seen. And having Trent back and being driven back up to the arena by his mom, that was awesome. And having Chris Statlander back, that's awesome. 2 returns in one match, and then they kicked butt. So we'll see where this goes, but this should end this feud that's been going on now, because that was a pretty substantial win, and all 3, Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford, and Miro all got taken out. So hopefully that will end this feud, and then we can, move on to what's next. Well, that was my review of AEW Dynamite. Another great episode. I mean, all 3 of these shows, Dark, and Dynamite, for the past few weeks now, have just been running on all cylinders. I mean, they've been excellent. Just a few minor hiccups here and there, but I mean, their shows are just blowing it out of the water with everything. So I recommend, watching these shows. And like I said, Dynamite was an excellent show. No complaints here. I mean, this was top to bottom a really great show with that amazing match finish, the Arcade Anarchy. I'll see you next week for my next AEW Week in Review.